Today we're going to go into a bit of detail with Xplova's brand new Noza S turbo trainer. So this is the brand's direct drive trainer, and it promises to have a lot of features that should put it at the top of the wish list for a lot of people wanting to do some winter training. First things first, we are going to have to build this. So this is how it comes, obviously in a box. So we're going to open the box, have a little look at what we get, and then build it for you. Okay, so opening the box, first thing we notice is we have a big piece of polystyrene here, and there's a few different parts on it. So we've got as power lead. It comes supplied with 4 different power adapters. There's a quick release. So if you're running a standard 135 quick release, we have a axle there, and then there's a box of parts. So this is the box of the bolts and everything else that you need to build this. So it comes with a tool. So it looks like it shouldn't really take too much work. So we can have that. And underneath, one of the features of this turbo trainer is it has a very big flywheel that promises to have a very realistic feel when you're riding. So we need to make sure we're careful when we're lifting this out. Right, there's the main part. Woo! And then we have 2 legs here. So we have one, and then a smaller one. Ooh, it's a nice noise, isn't it? There we go, second one. And the assembly instructions, actually, they're just on the box here. So you have 4 different steps, and you should be able to build it. The one thing to know at this point as well is it is a direct drive turbo trainer, so you will need a cassette. So it doesn't come supplied with the cassette. So you need to budget that in when you're setting up and buying this turbo trainer. Obviously, you need to make sure you run the cassette that works with your bike. First step in terms of constructing it, you need to find the adjuster for the front leg, take off the little bolt, and then this fits very, very simply through here and then onto that like that. Okay, don't do it up too tight, obviously, because you're going to need to put this onto the main body. You'll then notice 2 little holes here. And what we're going to do on these is we have 2 little spring bits, and then we need to make sure we slide it in and it clicks into place. There are 2 different heights depending on what wheel size you're going to do. So we'll talk about wheel size and compatibility in a minute. So just slide it in, squeeze those 2 bits in. Whoa, there we go. There we go. Click into place, nice and easily. You want to tighten that up, then it means it's guaranteed to stay in place. Very simple so far. The second part, you need to obviously attach the second leg. So the rear leg, this is smaller, so it's pretty obvious which one goes where. And this has 2 different holes that go all the way through. Square on one side, circle on the other. And for this, you are going to need the 2 bolts. So there's a plastic end cap as well. Now this needs to be pulled off first so you can tighten it up properly. And as I said, there are 2. So we'll pop both of those off. And because these are coach bolts, they have a little square section here, so they will locate and lock in place. So it's very easy, so you don't have to worry about having another tool to hold it in place. If you are worried, there is an Allen key point on here as well, so you can obviously hold things in quite easily. Slide number 1 through, it locates in place. Then what we can do is we can put it in like so. Number 2 goes through. And then when you're happy that they're both in, use your little socket that's supplied, and you can tighten these up. And that is the whole thing set up apart from the cassette. Very, very easy, very simple. So you can adjust it for height, depending on what bike you're using on. Talking about compatibility, as standard, this is compatible for everything from 26-inch wheels all the way up to 700C and 29er, so you can use it for your road bike, gravel bike, mountain bike, whatever you want to use. And then in terms of compatibility for your drivetrain, it comes as standard with a Shimano style free hub body, so you can fit a Shimano or an older style SRAM system on here. If you want to run a new SRAM system, that's the XDR driver, then Xplova do sell those separately. In terms of axle compatibility, well, you can run pretty much everything with the Xplova Noza S. So you can run it with a standard quick release, so that's a 9x135, or both common types of bolt-through axles. So either the 12x142 spacing or the boost spacing that you find on modern mountain bikes, which is 12x148. And they come with all of these little adapters. You can change these rounds, and it's quite simple to do, but you will need a spanner to be able to actually do that. So I've swapped it around already to run with 12x142 bolt through. As standard, it comes set up with the quick release ones. To run the non-drive side, it's actually the same adapter for either 12x142 or 148. You just simply flip it round. So it's very, very simple. So that just slots in. Need to put the cassette on, and then we're ready to go. So Xplova do supply a spacer here that you might need to use with your cassette. So you'll need to play around to see if you actually need to use this first and foremost. With this cassette, I don't need to use the spacer, so just put that somewhere safe. So when it's built, the footprint isn't actually as big as some of its rivals within that sort of price point, but it is very, very stable, and it has a weight that gives you a solid feeling of reassurance that it's going to hold in place when you do big efforts. And obviously, if you do want to store it away, you can take the front leg out, which makes it slightly smaller for storage. Some of the Xplova Noza S's vital statistics that you might be interested in. First of all, it's got a 5.9 kilo flywheel. So that's actually a very, very heavy flywheel for this price class. That means that it translates into a very smooth, quite realistic ride feel. Then in terms of power and resistance, it will produce up to 2,500 watts of resistance, which is right at the top of that class. It will also simulate a slope of up to 18%, and its accuracy is promised to be around about plus minus 2.5%, so it should be fairly accurate when compared to its rivals. Now, the one area that the Noza S has all of the aces is in its computing power. So it is powered by Acer. So Acer is obviously the computer giants that most people know about, and they are responsible for all of the electronics inside of this device. So it should be a pretty reliable unit. And it also means that it has some very, very good supporting features, especially the app that you download if you want to get the most out of this. Like all smart turbo trainers, this is both ANT Plus and Bluetooth Smart compatible, so you can connect it to all of your devices, from your GPS devices, your laptop, your tablets, your smartphones. Everything will work with this. Obviously, you need to plug it in, so you'll need to be near a power supply. So even without putting a bike on, we can just go through and link this up to the app just so you can see some of the features. So it's a simple, very, very standardized system. So spares are actually very easy to come by. Plug it in, get it into your power supply. Then as soon as you turn it on, it makes a beep. The Xplova app itself, which is called Xplova Workout, is really simple to use. So press it on and you've got a very, very simple home screen. Then you can go to your settings and obviously get to your device, and instantly mine has picked up because I've used this before. And then you've got all the information, so you can change the wheel size, change all the settings on there. The great thing then, if we go back to the home page, is you've got 3 different settings here. Now, the first thing that's really, really good on here is you can use this turbo trainer in conjunction with either your training peaks, so you can download your workouts, so it will run the workouts for you, or you can run a route. One of the really neat features about the app is that it allows you to replay GPX routes. You can ride a route outside, and then if you want to recreate it and train on that route, then you can do that. So you can download that as a GPX and it will recreate it, including the climbs, the descents, and effectively how it feels to ride. And then you can ride it as many times as you want without getting cold or wet. If you want to do a very simple training session, so you want to choose something that maybe, for example, gives you your FTP, then what you can do is you can set up an FTP test. So you can either set via power or heart rate, Obviously, if you do heart rate, you'll need a heart rate monitor as well. But if you go onto the power, there are then 3 different workouts that the Xplova Noza S will actually run you through. So there's 2 FTP tests. There's the 8 minutes test and the 20 minutes plus 5 test. So the 2 most common ones. And then you have a peak power test. And then when you click onto each of them, it will tell you all the steps that it will go through. So it'll tell you exactly how much pain it's going to cause you. And then you can use that to set up all of your training zones. One of the other standout features of the Noza S is its noise, or as I should say, its lack of noise. This is one of the quietest trainers on the market, and it's claimed to run at 58 decibels. And I personally have tested this before, and it's running around about 56 decibels when I've measured it, and that's during sprints. Of course, the Noza S is fully compatible with all of those third-party apps, and it works incredibly well with things like Zwift. There you have it, there's our unboxing and introduction to the Xplova Noza S trainer, a fully featured smart trainer that should fulfill all of your training needs for the coming winter months. Thanks for watching, and if you've got any comments about Xplova's Noza S or just winter training in general, please put it in the comments section below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up with our latest releases. But until the next one, we'll see you soon.